Hello and welcome back to the Product Biz Podcast. My name is Monica Little. I'm so excited to be recording this episode after taking a much needed midweek day off yesterday, which was the most glorious thing ever. I want to talk about that a little bit, but first I want to preface with what this episode is going to be about. Before I go on my mini rant of what my day was like yesterday, so you know what you're in for after I get through this rant, we're going to be talking about Instagram. We're going to be talking about is posting rich content that you think is rich and is so good. Is that enough? And can you see massive success with your business if you are posting content, posting reels that are getting 200 views per reel or less, or a handful of likes per post? We're going to be diving into that. But before we get to the meat of it, I want to tell you what happened yesterday because I don't think I talk about this enough, and I know a lot of people really struggle with this, so I want to share my experience to help show you and give you a line of sight of what your business can look like. So yesterday was Tuesday, just a regular old Tuesday, middle of the week, beginning of the week, whatever you want to call it. And for me, whenever I am leading up to my period, the few days before, the week before, my body, my brain, my everything is just really drained and really tired. And no matter what I do, I am just exhausted. And it's not from like pushing or overworking myself. It's literally my body in this time of my cycle of the month. Now, if you listened to an episode from way back when, sometime last year, I had Renee Fick on, and she talked about cycle syncing your business and how to use your cycle to your advantage. And when you're like ready and on fire and can create content out of nowhere versus when things feel really hard in your business and maybe even feel hard in life because of where you are in your cycle. So for me, I know for a fact the few days/week leading up to my period, I'm just not on it. Like, words don't come as easy for me, and I get tired really quickly and everything feels really hard. So I felt that way on Monday, and I had a ton of calls already on my calendar with my one-on-one clients. We had our brand story workshop of writing and crafting their full brand story of how they connect with their customers. That's on their About Me page, in their welcome email series, on their Instagram. Really, really juicy and really mentally challenging work that I brought these people through to help them create their brand story. And on Monday, I also had 2 check-in calls with 2 of my team members. So although I was pretty tired, on Monday, I had calls and commitments that I had to get through. Now, when Monday night hit, I was pretty dang tired because of that, on top of having my cycle where I was in my cycle, right? And I decided on Tuesday when I woke up, I'm like, I have things on my to-do list, like we all do, this never-ending to-do list that I perfectly slotted for Tuesday to get done, but I'm going to take a day off because I know when I'm in this part of my cycle and I'm pretty tired that no matter what I do, it's going to be like pulling teeth. It's going to take longer. It's going to be harder. It's going to be frustrating. I'm not going to have fun doing it. It's not going to bring me joy. I'm going to struggle to get things done. That I'm just going to take a day off and let my body actually recover and recharge even more during this time of the month where I am even more susceptible to feel tired at an easier rate. So I canceled my gym class yesterday. I had one call, just a connection call with someone that I postponed to next Friday. Had a clear calendar, was supposed to record all sorts of podcasts yesterday to be on track with my regular schedule. And I said, screw it. It's not worth it. It's going to be way too freaking hard. What's the point? And instead, I started reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. And oh my God, this book is so freaking good. Literally, I sat by the pool yesterday. So I decided to take a day off. I went for an extra long walk in the morning just to be outside, to be in nature, to nourish myself even more. I made a really nice breakfast. Usually I have a really healthy smoothie. I make pretty bomb smoothies, I'm not gonna lie. But yesterday I took the time to like make a veggie omelet and cut the veggies and saute the veggies and make an omelet and just enjoy my morning even more than I normally do. I'm a huge morning routine person, and my morning routine on a normal day takes like 3 hours. But yesterday when I decided to take a day off, I'm like, this morning routine is gonna have no end limit in terms of when I need to be done with this. I'm just gonna take it slow and enjoy and give my body the nourishment and time and space it needs. And then I went by the pool and read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm not kidding. I was by the pool for like 6 hours. And it was the most glorious day because the weather is finally starting to cool down in Arizona, when last month you literally could not be outside for more than an hour because you would be dripping sweat, like the type of dripping sweat where you just get irritated, right? But yesterday it was cooler. I was by the pool for about 3 hours, came back, made a really healthy lunch, went back by the pool for another 3 hours, came back, made a really healthy dinner for my husband and I, and finished the book by the end of the day. I finished this book in less than 24 hours. I started it on Monday night, and oh my gosh, it was so good. I could not put it down, and I haven't read a really, really, really good fiction book in a really long time. I've always been an avid reader. Oh my God, my husband jokes because I tell this story to him all the time. In like 5th grade, there was some sort of competition of who could read the most books. I don't know if it was like throughout the entire time in elementary school or what, but I read so much that I won that competition. It was either like a 5-year competition or a 1-year competition. I don't know, that I was able to paint a brick on the wall in the elementary school. And it's so funny. I always tell my husband, I'm like, did I ever tell you that story of like when I read so many books, I painted a wall? And he gets so mad at me in the most funny way because obviously I know he's heard that story, but I just like to bring it up for some reason. I don't know. But I love to read. Love to read. On average, to this day, I'm probably reading at least 2 books a week. I have a problem with buying books. I don't like to use Kindle. Not a big fan of Audible. Love to buy books. Have a problem with it. I think I have like 6 or 7 books that I've bought over the last few months that I haven't read. And I told myself I'm not going to buy any more new books until I've read the ones that I have, because I'm caught up in like other books or rereading another book or doing this or doing that. And I said, screw it. I keep seeing people talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses. It keeps showing up on my Instagram. A lot of the books that I'm currently reading, like 95% of them, are self-help books, either spiritual books or personal development books or personal development plus business books. That's primarily what I read, and I always take notes when I read, and it's super enjoyable and fun for me, but it's still a little bit like work. Like, I'm taking notes on the books that I read so I can think of concepts to bring to my members, so I can start to curate, ooh, this would be good for a 2-day in-person event for my members. I'm always like, although thoroughly enjoying the reading, still kind of in a little bit of work mode. But I got these books, and these are the first books in so long that are fiction that I literally could not put down. Couldn't do it. And it worked out perfectly because I was already tired. It's that time of month. Had a great weather day in Scottsdale and read literally freaking all day. Now, okay, if you haven't read these books, you should. I got the full series, but I'm deciding to reread the first one again because I liked it so much. I just want to like live in it for a little bit longer. So good, so good. Anyways, that's not the point of this podcast. The point of this podcast and this intro, this long-winded intro, is to bring you back to a few years ago when I would have never in a million years taken a random day off during the week to just relax, to just chill, and to just recoup my energy. A few years ago, I would have done whatever I had to do. There would have been nothing to let me stop me from working on my to-do list. I'm not kidding. There were days a few years ago that I would be sick on my deathbed and I would still work. Or we would be traveling from Chicago to Michigan and my husband would be driving for 5 hours and I would be working. We'd be on a flight and I would be working. And I think there is obviously this balance of like discipline and integrity and doing what you said you would do. However, there's this other side of the same coin, which is I will work better when I'm fully refreshed. If I tried to record a podcast yesterday, it would have been awful. And if you're an avid listener, there are probably episodes that you can tell I'm in probably that cycle of my month where I'm just not as creative and the words aren't coming and I'm still forcing myself to do a podcast, and it shows. Like, it shows in the output. And it was so nice for me to take a day off, because by the end of yesterday, I was like, ooh, podcast idea. And today I know I'm going to crank out a couple podcasts, even though it is this time of my month where I'm not usually super creative vocally. But that day to recharge just gave me a little bit of extra juice that I need to see what I can get done today. So I woke up today fully recharged, fully ready, fully able to get what's done on my plate. And honestly, I'm probably gonna get like 2 days worth of work done today, because I'm refreshed, because I can think straight, because I'm not tired, because it's not pulling teeth, because it's not just this miserable experience that I would have otherwise dragged myself through. Think of it this way. It's like running a mile when your muscles feel great and you've had great fuel and you feel fantastic, versus running a mile when you're hungover from going out the night before. Sure, you can still do it, but it's not going to be your fastest. It's not going to be your best. And you might as well just recover and run the mile the next day, because it's going to be a lot better and you're still going to get a good workout, right? So I think this is all to say, listen to your body. And it's okay to take a day off. It's more than okay. It's necessary. There's no point in building a business that literally makes you miserable. There's no point. Like, what's the freaking point of being miserable in your business? Now, I think there's a conversation that needs to be had of integrity and discipline and doing what you said you will do. Some people will take this conversation as like, woohoo, I'm going to take the next week off because Monica said, do what feels good. And it's like, there's a balance. And I've built my business in a way that allows me to take a day off because of the team, because of the structures, because of the processes, because of the time I've put into it to build it in this way. And I also prioritize my freaking schedule, that when I am working, I'm working on things that move the needle. So yes, I can do this. Now, it's going to be much harder to take a random day off if that hasn't been built, if that hasn't been your intention, if you're literally running from thing to thing to thing like a chicken with its head cut off. It might feel a little hard to take a day off. And that's your sign that maybe you should build your business in a different way, okay? Because it's not worth it to build it like that. Okay, that's my side tangent. And another fun thing, to bring it back to the book that I'm reading, is I told myself today, this is so fun. I usually don't have anything like this. I'm like, oh my God, I have a few things on my to-do list. I can't wait to finish them and get done with work early so then I can go back to reading. It's been so long since I've had that feeling, and it just is a great thing to look forward to, and also is another lesson if you're reading in between the lines of like, I'm not sitting here working from 9 to 5 p.m. every single day and just stuffing as much stuff into my day as I can. I have specific tasks that I want to get done each day that move the needle, and as soon as I'm done with them, my workday is done. I'm not pulling in more tasks or new tasks. So for me, it's a fun game of, okay, cool, let me record this podcast. Let me make it really good. Maybe I can make it so good that it's even a little shorter than normal so I can move on to the next thing so then I can read this book. And it just becomes this fun game, like this fun puzzle, right? So, oh my gosh, so excited to read. And it brings me back to my childhood of when I used to love reading fiction. Okay, that's enough. If you read these books, let me know. I already had so many people message me on Instagram saying that they love them and given other recommendations for like other series afterwards. And I'm just excited to dive in. Okay, but I digress. Okay. So what we're talking about today, oh my gosh, 15 minutes into the episode. You guys are awesome for hanging out here, okay? We are talking about Instagram. We are talking about creating rich content. Is that enough? We are talking about how can you make an impact if your views are really struggling on Instagram. And this is going to be a tough love conversation, okay? And what I want to mention right off the bat is I am here as your business coach and not your cheerleader. Let me just set the stage with that. And as a business coach, I am actually going to tell you the truth versus a cheerleader is just someone who is cheering no matter if the team is winning or losing, right? They're still cheering. They're still saying, woohoo, go, you're doing amazing, no matter what is happening. And that's a very different approach that I have. And some people can't handle the heat, but I'm just a messenger. Like, what I'm sharing with you is going to be how the game works, and I'm just the messenger. And sometimes people get mad at me, and it's like, all right, don't hate the messenger, hate the game. And actually, don't hate the game either. Just take what I'm saying and learn from it and implement it, and you're going to be much better off than huffing and puffing and playing the victim card, okay? First question I want to answer to set the stage is, can you see massive success and impact people and grow your business when you are getting less than 200 views per reel? Or if you are getting just a handful of likes per post? And here's the hard truth. You can't. You can't. Like, good luck. Good luck trying to grow to a 6-figure business when your Instagram isn't reaching more people, when your Instagram content isn't landing with your followers, when your Instagram content isn't leading to website clicks, and when your Instagram content, I hate to break it to you, if all those 3 things are happening, your Instagram content probably sucks. It probably sucks. Now, here's why I say that, not from an ego of like, oh my gosh, I need to say this just to say this. It comes down to conversion rates, and it comes down to eyeballs, and it comes down to, is your marketing content actually working? Now, when we talk about conversion rates, let's start with a very simple one where we have accurate data. A website conversion rate, a good conversion rate is 3 to 5%. So if you have 100 people that land on your website, if your website is optimized and has the right pictures, the right details, the right words, the right experience, only if it has that, you can expect to have 3 to 5 people out of those 100 that purchase. And that's if you have a good, great experience. Most people are stuck in the 1 to 3% conversion rate. So of 100 people who land on your website, 1 to 3 of them will buy. And even more people are stuck in a conversion rate of less than 1. So if you have 1 person land on your website, 100 people land on your website, not even 1 person will purchase. Half of a person will purchase, which means 0 because that doesn't exist. So that is your website or your Etsy page or your main selling avenue, okay? We'll say between 1 to 5% conversion rate. Now, if we take that same conversion rate to your Instagram, and Instagram is even tougher. A website viewer is someone who actively is like, I'm interested, let me see what they have. The only functionality of this website is for me to add to cart. Like, they're interested, okay? An Instagram viewer, an Instagram follower is actually on the app for entertainment. So the conversion rate of getting an Instagram follower to your website is probably like 1%. I don't have numbers on this. That might be something really interesting to look into, but we're going to go with 1%. So when we apply the conversion rate to the conversion rate, if you have 200 views on your reel and we say 1% of them convert to actually go to your website, that's 2 people. And then we apply the 1 to 3% conversion rate to those 2 people, and you have 0.00025% of a person that's going to purchase. Don't quote me on that actual math, but you get the point. Can you see massive success and impact when you are getting less than 200 views per reel? Not even likes, 200 views per reel. That's why I say the answer is no. Right? Like, don't be mad at me. That's just how the maths. Okay? And even more when you say you want to impact people, you want to grow your business, you want to reach 6 figures, you want to reach a 5K online sales month, a 10K online sales month, a 1K online sales month, whatever it is, your social media is part of that strategy and it has to actually work. Okay? The beautiful thing about social media is that every single post should get your followers one step closer to buy. And every single post that you're putting out there, you can pretty much tell within 24 hours on if it worked or not. Because if you're not getting a lot of likes, if you're not getting engagement, if you're not getting views, okay, probably didn't work. Probably isn't leading to much. So you have very instant verification of, is this resonating with my audience? Do people like this? Do I need to speak about my products differently? Do I need to approach this in a different way? You get to know that within 24 hours. And then you get to iterate on that. And you get to see, is this working or is this not working? Now, what most people get stuck in is that they just want to post rich content. They want to post content that they think is good. They want to post content that they spend hours creating. And I'm here to tell you that rich content is the content that your people like. Anything else is not rich content. Anything else is a waste of time. Truly, it is. Now, this goes back to understanding who your target audience is, because most people don't know that. Most people think they know. Most people will do a quick Google search on what does it mean to know a target audience and come up with some half-ass understanding of who they think they're targeting. You have to know who your people are. You have to know what they are looking for, and you have to know what they don't even know that they don't even know, to create content that actually captivates them. I see over and over and over so many small business owners are just saying the same shit as everyone else. Like, you guys need to be an authority in your industry. You guys need to take a bold stance on something. You need to not have a watered down message. You need to actually say something different and say something unique and say something that will draw attention to your business, because the opposite is saying what everyone else is saying and blending in with everyone. And if you want to do that, great. But it's not going to lead to sales. Okay? So a lot of people are just wasting their freaking time on Instagram, thinking that rich content is enough, getting 200 views per reel, continuing to post the same stuff, banging their head against the wall, wondering why it's not working. And then I come and say something like this, like, sorry, your content probably sucks, and people get mad. Now, most people don't want to hear this, but like I said, I'm not making the rules of the game. We did the math. I'm just a messenger. It's kind of like someone asking, how do I get from New York to LA in less than 6 hours without taking a plane? You just can't. Would you be mad at me for saying that? Or would you be like, yeah, you know what? She's right. She's right. It's not possible. This isn't working. I need to rethink my strategy. Now, most people will potentially get offended by what I'm saying. I actually had this conversation with someone, and they did reach out to me and said that they didn't like my answer and thought it was rude and blah, 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 blah. Most people won't hear what I'm saying because it threatens their existing model of reality. They'd rather be right, that they're doing the right thing, they're posting the right content, than get results and do it right. And if you guys don't realize, this is the ego, this is the pride, this is wanting to look good. If you can lean into your triggers, like if this episode is triggering you, and if you can lean into that and sit with it, you'll probably be like, this is absolutely right. There needs to be a shift in my content. There needs to be a way for me to actually own what I'm saying and own my voice and show up in an authentic way, and for people to understand what my products are about and for people to be drawn to them. Now, the other thing I will say about Instagram, which you guys have heard me say, is that Instagram is the best way to learn marketing. the best way to learn marketing. And if you're like, okay, fine, Monica, Instagram sounds really hard. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to focus on a website SEO. If I just had my website SEO in a good spot, things would be fine and dandy and I'd be making buttloads of money. Whole other conversation for another day. But Instagram is marketing. The more you learn how to excel on Instagram, the more you learn marketing. And you've heard me say this before too. Every single small business owner, you are a marketer above anything else. If you do not learn marketing, your products will not sell and your business will run out of money and your business will close. Or you'll be stuck to markets for the next 10 years. Because you don't need to know marketing to sell at a market. Funny that the word marketing and market are the same, yet they're so drastically different because you don't need to know marketing at all to make money at a market. You just show up. Marketing skills 0 and money made. That's why most people default to that. However, the impact, the amount of money being left on the table, the legacy that you can build, the business you can create is going to be dependent on the extent of marketing that you learn. Again, this is a fact, 100% fact. So when we think about Instagram, and maybe should I dive into the SEO conversation? I want to squash that. I'm going to do a full episode on this, but a lot of people will say, oh gosh, if only my website SEO was updated and was working, then I'd make more money. I hate to break it to you, but website SEO was not going to save your business. Because the amount of people that are searching on Google for exactly what you make, where you are showing up above the big box brands that are paying for ads, is going to be slim to none. A lot of small business owners, you guys need to realize that you're selling products that are impulse purchases. For example, at a market, it's not like someone went to the market saying, I have a list of things I want to buy. I want to buy this, this, and this. Let me go to this market and buy it. They're probably coming into your booth, seeing your products and being like, oh gosh, yeah, I do want this. Or, oh yeah, this would be great. They didn't come there intentionally for that. Just like your customers are probably not going to Google intentionally looking for your products either. We are in the business of impulse purchases. And an impulse purchase is so much easier via a platform like Instagram. It all comes back to Instagram. All roads lead to Instagram. And most small business owners will be clawing the other way, refusing to learn how to do it. So that's why it all comes back to Instagram and why I talk about it so much. Now, in terms of what type of content should you be posting on Instagram, I want you all to do this exercise, okay? I want you to think through 2 things. Number 1, what are the objections that people have as to why they don't buy your product? Okay, I'm going to give some examples of my Product Biz Academy members. So let's say Kelly from Maddie and Me Handmade. She sells headbands. One of the objections of why people may not buy her product is because someone maybe tried a headband before and it was really stiff and it gave them a headache. And they couldn't wear it for more than like 15 minutes. Bam. Piece of content right there. Here's why my headbands will never give you a headache even though you wear them all day long. Ooh, that's interesting, right? What's another objection that one of your potential customers may have? Let's say you sell, let's do Little Buddha by Daisy. She sells a magnesium and arnica body butter. An objection that someone may have is, I already got a lot of body butter. I don't really need another one. Okay, cool. That may be fact, but you're following me. So there is a reason you're following me and an interest you have in my products. So we can take this objection and say, you may have a lot of body butters, but does your body butter have magnesium and arnica in it? Where magnesium will actually help you sleep and arnica will help your muscles relax. So when you apply this body butter, not only is your skin getting softer, but you're actually getting some benefits from it too. Ding, 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 I need that body butter. So go through the exercise of what are the objections people have of why they would not buy my product, okay? And that's going to give you a ton of great content because no one is creating content from this lens. Like no one. 0 people. And if you can start to acknowledge these objections and shift people's objections, these are the thoughts your potential customers already have in their head. And when you're sharing with them why it's irrelevant, you're getting them on board and they want to buy your product. Now you have to know, back to your target audience, what their objections are. Have they tried every single anti-aging cream and it just didn't work? Have they tried every acne cream and it just didn't work? This is a great way to overcome objections by bringing in your story. So for example, let me bring in Whitney from Cleansed, another one of my Pranic Biz Academy members. She created her soap business because her daughter had such sensitive skin that they literally could only use water for a period of time. And water even irritated her skin because, believe it or not, most water, public water, has chlorine in it. So her family had to buy a specific chlorine filter because every single product, every single chemical, every single thing that they put on the baby's body was causing irritation. So an objection a potential customer may have is, listen, I've already tried handmade soap and it just didn't work. It still irritated my skin. And now Whitney can bring in this story and use that as a piece of content to show how her soap is like nothing else out there. Like nothing else. This type of content is going to be gold. So you're welcome. Second type of content I want you to think through is, what do your customers, what do they not even know that they don't know? Okay. So for example, there's things that your customers don't know. I'll take the Maddie and me example. Like, they don't know that the headbands are, what's the word I'm looking for? Flexible. They don't cause pain. They don't know that. They probably know that it exists out there, maybe. But what can we say that they don't know that they don't even know? That's like a breakthrough, an aha moment, and oh my God, like, you're right, I never even thought of that. A really great example is from Diana from Moda Magic, another one of my PBA members. She does CBD bath bombs, CBD skincare, CBD massage oil. And something that people don't know that they don't even know, which she shared, which got so much traction, is number one, she works in the medical space. And number two, she said that she knows that doctors literally give prescriptions and are paid to give more prescriptions, and she sees it in the healthcare industry that she works in. And that doctors don't actually care about your health or your longevity, because the more prescriptions they give, the more money they make, and hospitals are businesses and they want to make money and blah, 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 all this like crazy stuff where someone may know that, okay, I feel like the doctor kind of doesn't have my best interest in mind, but they don't know that it's like this severe and this screwed up. So if she can say, listen, if you have pain and this is what's happening, this is why you need my CBD magic balm to help with your pain, because others out there aren't going to be in your best interest. Ooh, now we're getting a little spicy, right? So this is, as you can see, very like authority related content. And I'm going to do another podcast about, well, what if my products don't solve a problem? Monica, you're talking about skincare and that's solving a real problem, but my products don't solve a problem. I may record that today since I'm feeling a little spicy, because every single one of you solve a problem with your product, okay? People want to fight me on that too. I'll do a whole episode about it and you're going to understand why. So determine what problem your product solves. You need to know that. You need to believe that. You need to eat, drink, sleep it. You need to be a champion of that. You need to want to shout that from the rooftops. And use that as we talk about these types of content, okay? So if you want to create kick-ass content, stop doing what everyone else is doing. If you got shitty content, just freaking acknowledge it and do something about it. Take these two types of content examples that I shared with you, objections, and what do your customers or potential customers don't even know that they don't know, and use that to create actual content. The last thing I'm going to leave you with in terms of another piece of content is talk about how your products are different from your competitors and like own that, okay? Like, sure, this is a little bit spicy, but if I think of Laura from the Necklace Studio, another one of my amazing Pranic Biz Academy members, she sells gemstone hand knotted, silk threaded, beautiful, beautiful necklaces that start at $350 each. Now she can create content, which this kind of goes into they don't know what they don't know and share that type of content, right? She can create content on how other gemstone necklaces, they're not using authentic gemstones. And you can tell by the color, and you can tell by this, and you can tell by that. And she has a gemology degree, and she can share all of her knowledge and build her authority in this space. So part of it can be like discredit the alternatives. Let's count that as number 3. Discredit the competitors and the alternatives that your competitors are offering and show yourself as the best option. Bam. I should charge money for this episode because it's so good. Okay, if you take that and honestly sit down and work through it, you're going to create kick-ass content, and it's going to take time. So please don't come at me and be like, Monica, I posted one of your things and it got less likes than my previous ones. Like, this takes time. Building an audience takes time. Shifting your content takes time. The algorithm takes time to pick up what you're doing. So like, embrace it, learn it, be all in, and make it happen. But this is going to be content that actually makes you stand out. Okay. Now, I want to bring it back to like, yes, maybe this episode has come across as a little bit like blunt, a little bit bold, a little bit spicy. But you have to know that tough love is still love. And when I'm giving you guys tough love, it's because I am a business coach. I am your business coach. And I'm not a cheerleader. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my gosh, great job with your Instagram content. It's fabulous. When literally it's getting crickets. Like, do you want me to lie to you just so you feel better? There are a lot of coaches out there who are cheerleaders. 100%. And there's a difference between a cheerleader versus someone who's actually going to help you grow, help you step into the version of you that's needed to see success, who's going to challenge your belief systems, who's going to challenge everything that you think you know about business, who's going to challenge the beliefs you've created since childhood, who's going to challenge your ego, who's going to challenge everything in order for you to get out of your own way. That's the whole point of working with a coach. So if you want a cheerleader, of someone who's going to clap for you and say, good job, no matter what, then I'm not the person for you. And this podcast, as I continue to dial up my spiciness, is probably going to be one that you stop listening to, which I'm okay with, because the people I want to work with are the ones who are open to personal development, who understand that as you grow, your business grows, who know that something's not working with what they've been doing on their own, so they're open to be coachable. And when you're coachable, you're actually helpable, and who are willing to change. So I'm totally okay with like pissing off a few people, with getting angry DMs, because number one, I know it's from a place of love, and some people just can't handle it. And that's more about their own things going on than it is about me. But also it's like repelling the wrong people and attracting the right people. And if I can attract the right people who are willing to do the work, who are going to actually show up and do the work, then they are going to see results and they are going to have their lives changed, and my mission is completed. Okay? Well, that's really what I wanted to share with you today. A little bit about Instagram, a little bit about SEO, a little bit about A Court of Thorns and Roses, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to leave you with this reframe. I don't think the question that you all should be asking is, how can I make an impact with just 200 views? The better question is, why am I not getting support to learn how to get more than 200 views? Why am I preventing my own progress? Why am I stuck on this hamster wheel? Why am I allowing my own self-sabotage by continuing to do what I've always done? Those are better questions, my friend. And you can see that those two different types of questions are going to lead to two different types of results, two different types of experiences, and two drastically different businesses. So I encourage you to ask better questions, to seek people who can support you in getting answers to your questions, and to stay coachable and open and use your triggers as your guide. Because whenever you are triggered, this is a fun lesson in itself, it's because part of you knows that what you're hearing is true. Part of you believes that what you're hearing is true. For example, if you told me, Monica, your purple hair is so freaking ugly, I hate it, you look ridiculous, it wouldn't bother me because I don't have purple hair. So when something triggers you, it's because you believe that about yourself. And if you can remove the ego, the pride, the defensiveness, the automatic response, and actually be open to, what is this bubbling up for me? How can I learn from this? And is this right? Can I grow and become better here and different here? Then you'll see some change, my friends. Okay. Thank you for being here. Love you all. Had so much fun chatting with you. Can't wait to hear what you think of this episode. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Product Biz Podcast.